You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table, the podcast where no subject is too taboo to discuss. Now, please welcome your hosts, Andy Barker and Drew Del Pree. There we are. We're back.
What's up?
Well, you know, the usual shit. Hard dicks and helicopters. Not necessarily in that particular order. However, what's up?
Yeah, nothing much, man. So what I was telling you before the show started, before we realized we were late.
Right.
Yeah, so Windows came out with this new application that links my Android phone to the computer. So I can like text, receive text.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can actually mirror my phone to the monitor.
Excellent.
Like open apps and like do certain things, but it's not I wouldn't be able to play a game on it.
Got it.
But I could like read a message from a messenger app, like a Signal or something, and then go ahead. And then, of course, the encryption wouldn't matter because Windows does screen capture now, so they'd have everything you looked at on Signal,
Right.
which is maybe why they do it. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool app to the Windows family of apps, and it works pretty well. And it said if it offers me different options every time I log in, like to showcase different features. And it asked me if I wanted to do phone calls from the computer. And I thought, oh, maybe it'd be like this,
Not so much.
No, they said you have to have Bluetooth.
Oh. What's
so
up,
maybe
Bear?
It could, but
Brother Bear's in the house.
Nice, man. What's up, Bear?
Bear's into his house.
Got a coin for you, Bear?
Oh, nice. So I had some interesting issues last night on the baseball field.
Oh, yeah.
I had a play that I've never actually experienced before. It was pretty wild. Pitcher throws to home. It's going to hit the batter. Batter tries to duck. The ball hits the bat, and it rolls 5 feet in front of the plate.
Oh, yeah.
Batter just froze.
Yeah.
Froze, right? So the catcher came up, picked up the ball, threw to first, called him out. Coach is like, that's a foul ball. I said, Coach, you're going to have to help me out here because clearly your definition of foul and mine are way, way different.
Yeah.
I said, please explain to me. I'm willing to listen. Please explain to me how that's foul. Well, the pitcher threw it and it hit the bat. Where did the ball land? Well, it was in front of the plate. And that is fair or foul? It's fair. So again, please explain to me how that ball is foul. Oh, let's just play the game. But I'm like, wow. And then, so here's the weirdest play, the entire 2 games I had last night.
Yeah.
Time expired. Called time. Said last batter. Well, bases were loaded. There were no outs. Pitcher pitches. The guy on third goes to steal, right? He's going to steal home. Called strike. Catcher drops the ball and it rolls behind him. No, I'm sorry. That was a different play. Catcher catches the ball, tags the guy out, right? But as he's stealing home, the guy on second's going to third, first to second, vice versa. Well, they throw down to third, overthrow. So that guy comes home. Guy goes from second to third, they throw it into him, overthrow, so he goes home. And they walk off the field. Both teams. Right? And then the coach comes out and he goes, those runs should count. They shouldn't count. It's bullshit. I said, how so? He goes, you said he's the last batter and he was out. I said, Coach, nobody ever called your batter out. I said, you had 0 outs. You got the out on the guy trying to steal home, and I pulled out the indicator because I keep my indicator in my pocket on the bases, and I just click it in my pocket. Pulled out the indicator. I said, look, the count's 3-1. Your batter is not out. The game was not over, but since you and the other team left the field, game is now over.
Yeah.
So wow, it was so bizarre, man.
Yeah. And sometimes I have to mention to the coaches, like I let them do it with the little kids, what'll happen is the drop third strike when they're playing drop third strike,
Mhm.
and the kid will walk away.
Yeah.
Well, he's leaving, and they're like, "No, no, it's a drop. You got to go." No, 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 he left.
Right.
He has to know to go.
Right.
He can't just leave and then decide to go. So
Right.
I have to remind them, like, "Hey, it's okay. I understand you're teaching about the drop third strike, but he's abandoned." Was what they would call it. He's abandoned
Right.
his right to his
So
attempt to go to first.
here was another weird one. It wasn't weird, but I had to
Yeah.
educate, you know? I actually had to break out the rule book during the game
Oh,
on this
really?
one
Yeah.
to show the coach how wrong he was. So they tried the hidden ball trick, right? You had a guy on third baseman had in his glove. Pitcher got on the mound, straddled the rubber, and then when the kid took his lead, they tagged him out, right? And they're like, "Yeah, yeah," I said, "Balk." They're like, "What? What do you mean balk?" Yep.
It's good
Go ahead.
education for me.
Go ahead, take your base. That's a score. So, I mean, what's the definition of balk? Intent to deceive the batter, right?
Uh-huh.
In the rule book, it's I don't remember what rule. It's 6 point something or other. It done. I could look it up later, but you can't be on the mound. You can't strap. Well, I got it right here. Without the ball. So, so I had to actually pull out the rule book and explain that to them. But they're like, it was ridiculous. I'm not going to waste time looking. I'll look it
Now,
up later.
okay, I understand what you're saying though. So he went up there like he had the ball, straddled the mound, and that deceives the batter.
Yep.
Right. Then he's not allowed to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to listen, man. They just wanted to argue it. So
Yeah.
I had to literally break out the rule book because look, if this was spring ball, here we go. Rule 6.02A sub whatever B8 whatever. The pitcher without having the ball, it's a balk if the pitcher without having the ball stands on or astride the pitcher's plate or while off the plate he feints a pitch.
Yeah.
I said it's black and white, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is pretty black and white.
So in spring, I just tell them we're not having this conversation. You're done. But since it's fall ball and it's, the spirit of the fall leagues, at least around here, is to teach.
Okay. I'm new to
So
this. I was
yeah.
wondering. I'm new to this. I was wondering because in the summer they were really uptight in June,
Yeah.
and now they're like, "Yeah, I don't care."
Yeah. So
They were real uptight in June. I guess.
so I took it as a learning opportunity. Everybody should be educated, right?
Sure.
Since that's the spirit of the league for fall around here. So that's why I took the time to actually break out the rule book and show him. So, and I bet you he'll never forget it.
No.
But it was just weird, man. 2 games yesterday, and I had more weird plays in those 2 games than I've had probably in the last 3 years. It's a full
Yeah.
moon or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. But anyway, I want to hear about your compliment that you got.
Oh man. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah. So I had a game Wednesday, and I've been telling we've been talking offline. I like to show up with my shirt pressed, my pants pressed. I like to have my equipment. I like to
Standards.
yeah. I like to come an hour early. I always walk around the field, even though I've been there. I still do it.
Mhm.
So I really took the perception business to heart, right? I make my calls loud. Um, I come out for the plays and everything. So anyway, I've been behind the plate the last 2 weeks, and it's been a wonderful learning experience. Um, every weird thing that happens, I have it the next game just reinforced, right? Like, oh, okay, I saw that already. Okay, all
Right,
right, all right.
right,
Oh,
right.
all right, that was new. Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
because sometimes these little kids, it's just weird things happen.
So, you
Yeah,
said something, and I got to say it before I
please.
forget. This is why I like doing rec ball. You're going to see shit at the rec level that you will never see in the higher levels, right?
Right.
And it forces you to know the rules and to dig in and learn them. And if you don't know it, you better figure it out real quick, right? Because these
Right.
kids do the dumbest shit, man. And it's a great I think it's great for learning. I think it's a
Yeah.
great, foundation for any umpire.
Oh, I love it, man. I love
Anyway,
it.
I'm sorry. I had to
No,
get
you're
it.
good, man. So, so I call, so I'm calling, and I'm doing what I'm running out for the plays. Um, the bases would get loaded. I'd open up the strike zone. Both coaches were very appreciative. The management and stuff. They could tell. They could tell
Mhm.
all of a sudden.
Right.
High and outside is is landing, right?
Mhm.
But it gets the bats moving, right? I mean, when the pitcher's not, and so they had a really good game, really good game. So anyway, at the end of the game, I was leaving, and as I was leaving, someone's a guy stopped me on a hill, like there's a little pit, and they're walking on a hill, and he said, "Hey, Blue, it was a pleasure watching you work, running out and running back in." Um,
Nice.
because I made sure, when I ran out, I was like, "Okay, you have to run back in. Don't walk,
Right.
run." And so I would run out to the bases, come back, and I said, "Thank you. That means a lot." I said, "I appreciate it." I went to my car and started taking my shin guards off, and a guy came up to me and he said, "Hey, Blue, I just want to tell you, man, we come from down south, and we just have a bunch of old fat guys, man. They never come out, man. We've never seen that." He was like, "That was awesome, man." He said,
You mean
"You
running
had a
down the baseline looking for, uh,
yeah, everything, man."
yeah, pulled foot, but I can't speak right now. I think something's kicking
No,
in a
you're
little
good,
bit.
man. But so right? So anyway, he he said there was a close call like down at third or something. He said, "Man," he said, one guy was saying something about your call at third. He said, "Even my wife was like, hey, at least he's out there. He can, he saw it, man. Pipe down." He said, "Even my wife." He said,
Nice.
"So, because it's rare we see somebody good at their job, man. I just want to say thank you." And I was like, "Hey, man, that means a lot. I appreciate it, man." And gave
That's
him a
awesome,
handshake,
dude.
and it
That's
just reaffirms, I think, what they stressed at the Umpire Academy, at the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy, like, you're in the perception business.
Yep,
People wanna
100%.
see I make sure I don't have my watch on. I make sure I'm paying attention to the kids.
Mhm.
Um, I forget who told me, "Yeah, you wanna be loud because it's the safety of the players." Being loud communicates to everybody.
Right,
It's not punishing the batter, calling a strike loud. It's letting everybody know what's going on the field, and it's firing up your pitcher.
right.
Because if he's not throwing strikes,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a long day.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that perception of running out there. So that's now because of their compliments in the back of my head, somebody's watching. I need to run out there and I need to run back.
Somebody's always watching.
Right? Run out, run back. Because it is being noticed. The maybe the miss is being noticed, but the good is being noticed as well too.
Mhm. So, that reminded me, since you said a parent came up to you after the game,
Yes.
I heard, I was on the dish last night, and I heard behind me I always ignore it, but, I heard somebody say, "How far out was that, Blue?"
Yeah.
I ignored it, right? Well, that parent came up to me after the game. "Hey, Blue, I just got a question, on some of them balls you called out, how far outside were they?" I said, "Are you kidding me right now? Ask that question again. How far outside were they?" I said, "You already know it's outside. What does it matter?
Yeah.
If it's a foot, if it's an inch, what does it matter? It's outside. And you've already acknowledged that fact. So doesn't matter." And he looked at me like I had three heads and just walked away.
Yeah, man. I don't. These people are. It's just so funny, man. Like how people aren't used to the kindness. Like after every game, I think I shake, even if they're mad, I shake every coach's hand and say, "Hey, thanks for volunteering for these kids, man."
Yeah.
I just go up to every one of them and I say, "Thanks for volunteering with these kids, man."
So I don't. We got a new comment in the room. I don't even know how to pronounce that name. So I'm just gonna say, "Hey, what's up?"
Oh man, sometimes I don't even read the chat. Let me see where's that thing at.
Lower right.
Oh
Go.
yeah, I can't try, man. I
Yeah.
can't.
I just say, "Hey, what's up?"
Hey,
uh,
hey. So I heard the latest trend in the soft community. And we'll have to talk to your buddy about it. Is bourbon.
oh, hi, Lisa.
I
Bourbon.
I hear bourbon. Hey. I hear bourbon is the latest trend. In fact, I picked up a brother of ours, and I had to take him to the airport to pick up a rental car, and he's like, "Hey, do you know any good bourbon stores? Because if I could land some Pittsburgh bourbon, you
Really?
know,
Hmm.
that would be the the thing." And so anyway, that spawned a different conversation regarding bourbons, right? Because bourbons, they were saying guys are picking them up all around the world, right? But to be a true bourbon has to be in the USA, right?
That's my
80% corn,
understanding of it. Yeah.
white oak barrel,
Right.
so getting an exported bourbon, I mean,
Who cares, right?
right? That's what I think, right?
Is it
That's what I
really?
think. But
It's not real
yeah.
bourbon. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. But I used to be a bourbon guy when I was drinking, and then
Okay.
why thank you, Lisa. And then I kind of moved on to Scotch. But dude, I was drinking cheap ass bourbon. I was drinking Jim Beam when I was in freaking high school, man.
Oh yeah, man. Well,
So
yeah. I mean,
soft
I,
community catch up. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Right, right. Oh
Welcome,
man, I used to have them airport bottles, man, because
right?
I had airport bottles in my pocket because I thought a flask would be too obvious. That's how sick I was, man. Like, I'm gonna have these airport bottles, and that won't
Right,
look half as alcoholic as if I had an actual engraved flask. Right?
right. Boy, the lies you tell yourself, you know?
Oh man, I remember
It's
used to hear him clanking in my cargo pockets, the plastic, like. I'd be trying to walk by like the colonel, somebody like this.
that's funny.
Oh man,
So
good,
bourbon, okay.
good days. Yeah, bourbon. Yeah,
Hmm,
but
interesting.
we were talking about bourbon and the whole whiskey rebellion starting down in Washington, South Washington, PA. So I have some history to go review because I'm not familiar with any of that.
I'm not either. I
I'm
was kinda
familiar with the
hoping.
whiskey rebellion. I've heard that term.
I have heard the term, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
No,
Nothing.
no. And
Hmm,
so when we were talking, when I was telling this other guy the same thing we are talking about was earlier today. Like yeah, the SF thing is bourbons. They're into like bourbons. Um, and so anyway, yeah, I got that whole rundown on the whiskey rebellion starting down in Washington, PA, and that was that whole thing. Like it's got to be 80% corn, got to be the white oak barrels aged for a certain amount of time. It's very specific, very specific.
so I'm just kinda trying to wonder why bourbon's a new thing in
I
that
don't
community.
know.
You know what I
Somebody
mean?
probably found one, came back.
It's
Who
just
knows, man?
yeah.
They end up, could be a trophy. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
You know what I mean? Like you guys come back with wild stuff, man. I think I've told a story before about our guy Frank does all the paperwork for the RPG. And then comes back. We come back from Afghanistan and we're unpacking, and the colonel walks by. Oh, thanks.
Oh, jeez.
Fucking mounts it over the company.
Oh, no.
He did all the pay. He did it. So he was like, it just eyes big. Like what the hell, man? Like
Damn,
he just stole his RPG. And I mean,
damn.
he did, man. It took him months, man, but he did it right. He filled out the paperwork. He had to take pictures, and he had to send in the trigger mechanism to Bagram. Like, it was, like, the weirdest thing because, like, the whole time we were like, "How do they know we don't have 15 of these?"
Right.
Yeah, like,
Huh.
but he did everything he was supposed to do, and he received permission to take a de-weaponized RPG home. He was gonna take it home and put it how everybody's got the AT4 lamps?
Right.
I look like I'm jerking off 2 giant dudes. It's like my God. Hey, this is amazing.
Lou's gone skiing, everybody.
Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah. So the point was, anyway, he had one. I think he had one of the AT4 rockets, and lamps like everybody makes when you go fire AT4s. Once you fire it, the tube is done, so people keep them.
Right.
Um, it's either that or throw it in the river. So before people are like, what? They keep them. Yeah. Yeah. And so anyway, I think he wanted to make another lamp out of it and have matching AT4 RPG. But yeah, Colonel, I'm not going to say his name, but yeah, he walked by, just snatched it right up. And
That's
this will be
just
great for the company office. Yeah. I mean, true
that's
to his
just
word, he put it
wrong.
above the company office. But
I'd have been so pissed, man.
oh my God, the look
God,
on Frank. Oh man. Oh man. He'll be
yeah,
telling that story forever, or at least I am.
I would have stole it. I would have stole it back.
Right? Right?
And it would not have been in my possession. Somebody else would have had it, but I would have stole it back.
Oh man.
On principle alone.
Right? But that was just funny, man. I could not believe it just and so typical, right? And just so typical of the military,
Yeah.
in the world we live in. Just so typical. I was talking
Hey.
real quick, I was talking to Chief Selects and I was giving him a class on the dueling, right? In Bainbridge. I don't know if we talked a little bit about this last week. Um and I mentioned to the guy that it's one mistake, man, can really like throw it off kilter, if that makes sense, And once you're thrown off kilter, man, who knows where it's going,
right?
2 degrees, 2 degrees for 2 miles may not be so bad. For 230 miles, woo, gonna be over.
Sorry.
Just a bit outside.
Sorry about your school, your hospital. But no, dude, did you go see that movie on Sunday?
I did go see Am I a Racist? I did. Man, I was from start to finish. I was dying laughing. I couldn't believe it, man. And I'll tell you what had me laughing. Like in the beginning, he's talking about things, and you're like, oh yeah, like there's the news moves so fast, you forget about some of this stuff, some of it,
Yep.
or how crazy the support was of it. In the beginning, and they're going through some stuff and you're like, oh yeah. And then he starts going out talking to me like there's no way. There's no and every time you think there's no way, oh yeah, man, there's a way. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people,
For example,
I mean, there's one part, a spoiler alert. I'll give you 10 seconds. I think that's 10 seconds. Spoiler alert.
whatever.
Anyway, spoiler alert. He said after he went and went through this, he embarrassed a bunch of people and went through this DEI training, and did all this stuff. He put his own class together and put it out on Craigslist, right? So he got people to come, and he was the DEI teacher, and he had 9 steps to get rid of racism in your life or something, right? Like 9 steps to cure white guilt or whatever racist something. He had a scale on from not racist to racist, and it was a picture scale, right? And so you have to kind of be political to understand the pictures, because if you don't know, you won't notice it, right? Because I had to tell the people I was with, right, in the middle, because I was dying laughing. But it was not racist, right? It was George Floyd was the picture. So you had to take your name and put your name next to how racist you thought you were, right? So people's names are near these pictures. Right? The next one, moving towards racism, so not racist at all, right? Rachel Dolezal.
Oh God.
Right. So for those of you who don't remember her, she's the white girl who'd been identifying as black. Yeah. Basically ever since she went to college. Right? Because her whole life she was white. Right. And then when she got busted, she became this whole thing. Anyway, so it was George Floyd, Rachel Dolezal, and then getting into racist territory, it was Trump and a Klansman. Right? Yeah, Floyd, Dolezal, Trump, and a Klansman. One guy's one guy, he step one was admitting something, and the one guy was asked a question about, so he took his name and put it right up by the Klansman. Questioning. And these are real people, man, and they're and people are getting and as he's going through the steps, people are leaving, right? They're like, this is absurd, this is ridiculous, okay? But each step, in my mind, I'm like, there's no, come on, man. People have to realize, you have to you have to realize this is a scam. Look at this, can't be, this is absurd, right?
Right.
This isn't real. But no, these people, because of the media, are in this class expecting what he's doing. And I'm like, no way. The 9th step, if you want to talk about where I was like, no way, The ninth step, he comes out with whips and is like, the only solution is to whip the white guilt out of ourselves. And dude, there are people that are like reaching in the box, like, yeah, we have to whip ourselves. He's right. You
Oh
know,
my
like,
God.
yes. And that's why, and you're like, oh, no way. We cannot share a country with people like this.
Jesus Lord, man.
It is.
It saddens me on so many different levels, man.
Oh my God, man. And you're dying laughing the whole time, right? But yeah, you are kind of crying inside, right? Here's the other thing, man. I'll give you another one. It's no spoiler alert, Andy. You'll like this one. He's out in front of the Washington Monument with a sign, let's rename and replace it to the George Floyd Monument, right? He's getting people to sign it. But here's the funny thing, right? Here's the funny thing, right? He has two signs. One is the Washington Monument, and the other one is what they're going to do, right, to the George Floyd Monument. It's the most racist, hilarious sign. And people are like, yeah. It's like blatant racism. He says what we're going to do to make it the George Floyd Monument is paint it all black and add 30% more at the top. That's what the sign says.
Damn, you just made me snort on that one.
I know. And people are like, yeah.
Look who just showed up in the room.
Yeah.
How ironic. How ironic is it that Chuck just showed up?
And we can transition off of this because I could go all night about that movie. And but I'm telling you now, Am I a Racist was hilarious and sad at the same time.
But still damn funny.
We're gonna paint it all black and add 30% more to the top. Call it the George Floyd Monument. And he's doing it with a dead face, man.
I don't know how he does it.
I don't know either. Hey, Chuck, Andy's got something for you.
You know, yeah, I do.
But here, I'll talk while Andy gets that ready.
Here it is.
While Andy gets that ready, Chuck. So the reason I didn't answer, and I want to be 100% honest, is one, because when you sent the first text, I was like, holy crap, I never sent the file to Andy. And so I had to immediately send the file to Andy. And then when you sent the second, third, I was like, I am a horrible human being and a terrible friend. And I was like, so we're going to get this straight, and we're going to, and we got it all ready to debut on this show tonight. And then I was going to text you later and be like,
what, pray tell, are we debuting?
We're debuting a song, remember?
I know what we're
I'm sorry. I thought you might. So Chuck wrote our song on a previous show on the Pit, right? When Andy and I were on there. And now that we've transferred over to Nothing's Off the Table, and Chuck moves around a lot, so he's overseas fighting the good fight in Okinawa. Right? If you've seen Godzilla -1, good luck.
Right.
But no, I'll tell you, that was the greatest movie. Anyway, so Chuck wrote us a new song for our show, Nothing's Off the Table. But he did it a couple months ago, and it was on me to get that over to Andy and get that straightened out. And so I have to formally apologize. I like I said, I totally dropped the ball. Then as soon as I saw your message, I was like, but so just to tell you a little bit about Chuck has his own Facebook page. He'll put it in the comments here. We encourage you to check it out. He does a lot of song clips and real quick videos and things, music. Chuck's into the music business and industry. Several bands.
Talented.
Yep. Plays a lot of good stuff. So he wrote our song when he found out we had a new one. I don't want to. I mean, really, relatively quickly, and we are extremely impressed. And the speed with which this guy works. You had a comment about it earlier, Andy. I think was probably the best way to put it.
What that
when you say like I feel disgusted when I like playing chopsticks.
He knocked that out quicker than I am in the bedroom. Is that what you're saying?
No. You were like, I struggle with chopsticks on the guitar. And this
I said I'm having trouble playing Mary Had a Little Lamb, and this guy's just making me sick.
He just sits down and riffs, and you're like, oh, really?
Total production in like 2 hours, and I'm still picking my ass on this guitar.
You know what he reminds me of? The Super Bowl. Was it the Super Bowl commercial or the new commercial that's out? You can't just walk. You can't just walk in and write a jingle. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't seen that.
They go see the Jingle Man for Taco Bell or something.
Oh, no shit. I'll have to
And
look
it's like
that
I
up.
forget who it is, but he looks like somebody you should know, right? Like I'm like, oh, I feel like I should know this guy. But he's
P.
like, you
Diddy?
can't just write a jingle, and the dude's like, yeah, I know you can't. And he just grabs his guitar. He's like, yeah, it's not like you just be here, like, and then just rips one out. like that's basically like what Chuck did was like he just grabbed the guitar and like rip. Yeah, I mean, nobody could just pick it up and like rip it out like that. I mean, it'd be something like this or maybe like that. I don't know. Here you go.
Well, I'll tell you what, without further ado, let's just listen to it. You guys ready?
I'm ready. I'm gonna mute
Here
my
we go.
mic right now.
All right, here we go.
It's that time again, yeah, it's time to relax. Kick off your shoes, loosen your slacks. Put your feet up and have a drink or two. Nothing's off the table with Angie and Lou. Angie and Lou.
Out freaking standing. If I had an applause soundbite, I'd play it right now.
I do not.
Oh,
I do not. I do not. Am I ready? Am I back to normal now?
yeah.
I accidentally touched my budget. I don't have any of that. All I have is this.
Now that penis had a mole on it. I'd recognize that penis neighbor.
That's the only one I have.
Beulah Ball Breaker.
If we just get a sketch artist in here. We could just get a sketch artist in here.
Chuck, that was amazing, dude.
Always.
Thank you. That was we will get it added
Yes.
post show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we're gonna try to get Andy a line account. So that way it's not just we can all talk.
Oh yeah. I don't even know what line.
I am surprised about that because you have an Asian wife. I am very, very surprised at that.
I don't know, man. She probably does.
Yeah, that's like how they communicate, man. That's how my wife calls her sisters.
Well, I don't really talk to her family much, because
Yeah,
there's
that's true. I don't be calling her sisters.
huge language barrier.
Yeah.
So
It's
whatever.
that's another thing I was talking about today. A friend of mine, he's Moroccan, and
Moroccan the boat.
yeah, and I gave him all my Arabic books from the Language Institute, right? So I was telling him today I had another one. He just got back from Japan. He works for he's actually a chemical engineer in paint. And he's I'm interested in weird stuff. So I always find talking to him interesting. Like for example, he said it takes 10 years to get a paint to market.
Wow.
Takes 10 years. He said new coat, new paint, whatever, new style, new texture, whatever. It takes 10 years from the lab to the market.
That's a problem, man.
He said, so you're gonna work your he said, so you work on maybe 2-3 projects in a lifetime.
That's a problem. That's guarantee you that's 100% government bureaucracy that's preventing.
He was telling me it has a lot to do with testing the materials over time, some of it, and basically, yeah, like they have to. I don't know. It has to do with testing.
So is it more like interior, exterior paints, everything?
I'm not sure. He said they subject it to a lot of different stuff. Like they put it in a lot of different environments, just to see how it holds up, just to see what happens to it. Does it corrode metal? They just look at the chemical makeup of what it's on, he just said it just takes 10 years. It's just a 10-year process. And he didn't seem to,
that makes sense, I guess.
he didn't seem to think there was anything,
nefarious or
just, it's just, that's what it is, man. Just takes time to develop,
Well, when you explain it like that, yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah, so he's an interesting guy. So I gave him all that, and he just came back from Japan, and he was like, he's like, it's not Japan. He's like, Japan's not like Europe, and I know you think like no shit, right? But he was talking about from like a language perspective too, as well. He's like, Europe, pretty much everywhere you go, someone speaks English.
Right.
He's like, in Japan, not so much. It's a lot harder to find that guy. And I was like, yeah, man. Like my wife's family, and I don't know about yours, but my wife's family learned English to pass the test, like I learned Spanish to pass the test. Gone.
More than likely, yeah. Because they,
Yeah.
they do teach it in the schools in the Philippines, but
Right.
if you're not using it, you lose it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my wife's sisters had no intention of meeting an American. My
Mhm.
wife was always fascinated by Western culture, America. Loves the
Interesting.
bass. Always wanted to learn English. Always wanted to go to America. She used to volunteer babysitting. That's how she learned English. She used to volunteer with a dentist.
Oh wow.
Who's I'm sure they're not listening to this podcast.
I'm pretty sure too.
But she said that lady used to go out on her husband all the time. So she used to work. She used to have work all the time
Damn.
because he would deploy or something,
Yep.
and she'd go out and she would watch the kids and learn English with the kids. And
The good old Westpac widows.
yeah, man. And so she said that's how she learned English. She said they were a wonderful couple. They send her like a Christmas card, like like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's weird, man.
That's so.
But that's
weird.
how she learned English, man. And she said she was hungry to learn English. So that's why she doesn't tolerate like a lot of the wives who don't speak English. She doesn't like that, man.
Yeah.
Well, then why are you here? What are you doing?
Speak of English.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That was probably racist.
Yeah. What do you?
I'm going to argue and say no. I think it's just bigoted.
Somebody earlier today told me, I better watch it or my wife will get me. I was like, nah, just step about 40 degrees to the left and lower them. That's out of visual acuity. They're like, you fucking horrible human being.
Well, for the record, you may be a horrible human being, but you're funny as fuck. So
I just try, man. What do you? I'm just trying to. What do I always say, Andy? Just trying not to fall off the planet, man.
That's right.
How
That's
fast we're
right.
moving. That's all, man. That is all, right?
So how many more games you got left this season?
I don't know, man. I have one more. Not this week. I have one more khaki ball day because I forgot to shut that day off.
Oops.
And then I don't like I said, I don't know the baseball seasons. I don't know what they do fall ball. I don't know I don't know when the regular season starts. I have no idea. I don't even know if they'll let me do high school ball. I don't know, man.
You've already you'll do high school ball. You've already got you get your state number and all that crap, pass the test.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do high school ball.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what the schedules are, and I don't know what I don't know if there's a seniority. I don't know how they do it. And honestly, I'm having so much fun learning. And the guy who's in charge, he seems to be very good. I know I was joking about like how they paid everything, like I was calling it a mob the other day, but I'll tell you what, they seem to take care of you, because he's 100% right. I've been down in this lower league, learning how to explain my rules, learning how to explain my calls. I've been learning that, acting and looking the part helps, so I've been down here, learning. If I had a complaint, the only complaint I'd make is the other day I was out there for 2 games back to back. So that's 4 hours of work and there's nobody like to give me feedback, no like fellow umpire to be like, hey man, that was pretty okay or good or,
It's funny you say that because I sent you something in the mail.
And I got a chance to read that.
Yeah,
I did.
So we have a lot of the same issues here with that.
Yeah. So I just thought, right. So I just thought like it'd be nice to have somebody give me feedback. I mean, I told you I had that one guy. Did I tell you about the guy I had to tell about the pro?
No.
Some guy pulled me aside to tell me about oh yeah, because those games were after the podcast, so we may not have talked. We not have spoken. So this guy doesn't pull me aside as I'm walking back. He intercepts me. We're going different ways. And he's like, that close play at third, I usually give those to the defense because, it's the effort and everything, and it's a close play. And I was like, okay. I said, look, man, I'm new at this, and I appreciate you taking time to talk to me about that. I said, Oh, and he said something about my strike zone, but he said he understood it being an open strike zone because you get the kids swing. And then he said something, and then like he said, close play doesn't do that. I said, because I went to school for this. I went to a camp. And what the pro said to me when I asked him about stuff like that was he said I never penalized someone for something I didn't see. And he goes, a pro told you that? And I said, yeah, Gibby Gibson. And he was like, well, I see what he's saying. I understand what he means. I was like, yeah, I could, you know what? Why don't you stick with that? And I said, well, but I understand what you're saying too. We got to keep the game moving and, we should reward effort. I said, thank you, man. I appreciate, I gave him his out,
Right.
But,
Let him
yeah.
save face.
Yeah, because he's an older guy, but I think he understood too,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You handled that much nicer than I would have. I would have said, well, that's because I just go with the correct call.
Yeah, right, right. I know, man.
That's the problem. He's probably the kind of guy that thinks, like a lot of other uneducated people out there, that there's still a rule that says tie goes to the runner.
I don't know what these guys think, man. I don't know what but my thing is hey, I talked to another guy who was like, yeah, my son's over here, he's in the Navy, and we're over here in the Navy. He's like, I used to umpire, I don't do no more, man. It hurts my hips, my ankles, but he said, hey, I like how you were, I see you moving around. But we mostly talk Navy,
Yeah.
So he was a nice guy. But yeah, I mean, some of these dudes, I did just find out though, one of the coaches that I felt like as soon as I saw him, I'd have an issue with him. And of course we had an issue with him. I brought him up to somebody else. I was like, yeah, there's this one guy over here on this team on this color. And they were like, no, exactly who you're talking about. He's been thrown out multiple times, man. Don't listen. Just throw him out. That's what the other umps do. I was like, no way. And they were like, yeah, man. Yeah. I've seen him thrown out 2-3 games.
Damn.
Yeah, he gets like that, man. They're like, just toss him.
Toss a salad.
Yeah.
So last week, I like you always show up early to the game, so I'd walk around and see what's going on. And I met this couple. I met them because they had a beautiful German Shepherd puppy. So of course I had to go see the dog.
Yeah.
So I get to talk to them and everything. Well, I worked their kids' game last night, and after the game, she came up to me. She says, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "About what?" She goes, well, some of the parents were running their mouths a little bit and then some of the kids. And I said, I'll be honest with you. I'm hard of hearing. If I got my back to you, I can't hear you. Number one. And number two, I don't listen to parents anyway. They 9 times out of 10 have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And she starts laughing. She goes, oh, you're right. But I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I said, no need to apologize.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff's cool,
I agree, man. And they can be upset. Look, like I tell the coaches, man, I'm like, look, and again, like you said, we're different people, right? We're different people. I tell them, hey, look, man, as long as you don't get personal, I mean, coming to argue a call is a part of baseball, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You want to come out of the dugout? Hey, what was that? Come out of the dugout, man. Just don't get personal. I think that's a part of baseball, man. God, that was awesome growing up when my coach came out for me.
Yeah,
you want to come out, man. Just don't get personal, and we'll have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? I think it's part of baseball, man. And they're like, well, I'm glad you feel that way, but I'll try not to.
I agree with you, and I will listen to somebody, as
Yeah.
long as, like you said, they're not getting personal or they're not just being stupid ridiculous.
Right. If you want to come out and say, hey, I think that's over here, I think that's over there, man, that's part of baseball, man. Come on out, and we'll adjudicate it. You know what I mean? Just don't get personal.
Right.
The other thing I tell them too is at the beginning of the game at the plate meetings, I tell them, hey, look, man, I really don't have a dog in this hunt, man. In these lower leagues, look, I get it. It's official baseball rules, man. But we'll be here all day, right? I mean, we all know that, right? So I mean, so what I tell them is, if the two of you agree and you want to reverse something,
mm-hmm.
If both of you agree, I'm okay, man. I'm not going to come out here and argue. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of league specific stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like the example I always use is, I'm like, man, I mean, like I understand we're playing official baseball rules, right? But your kids understand the infield slide rule. We'll be here all day, man. Or batter's interference off the catcher throw to second. We're gonna be here all day, man. So I'm just saying, like, so that's why I just tell them at the beginning, I'm like, hey, if you guys agree, I'll make the calls. And if you agree and you don't want to adjudicate, I'm okay with that, man. I'm okay with that. I got no dog in this hunt, man. I just want to have a fair game,
So last week, since we didn't talk, I was umpire supervisor under instruction, and
under instruction.
so funny. I'd already done umpire supervisor for this guy the week before. Now I'm under instruction. Whatever. Anyway, it was cool because we just sat there and BS the whole time. But
right.
Two of the umpires on one of the fields, coaches are arguing because it was a 10U game, and in this specific league, 10U cannot advance, right? They can't steal, they can't, advance unless a play is being made on them or a batted balls and put in a live play, right?
Sure.
So they're arguing about it. So we went out there to handle it, and people laugh at me when I do this, but I always bring the rule book. I have the rule books with me every time I'm out there, right? And I have the specific league rule book. And I showed it to him. It's just black and white. It's right here. He goes, "What's a stupid rule?" I said, "Maybe so, but it's still a rule,
Right.
It's for safety. They're 10 years old, for God's sake, right?" He goes, "Well, it doesn't make sense. Isn't the ball live in play? If he's throwing down to second, you're telling me that my runner on third can't go home?" I said, "Yeah, it's exactly what I'm telling you."
Yeah, he's locked at third. Yeah, that's what we locked at third. Hey, runners in this league are locked at third. Yeah.
And then the guy I was with, he's a big dude, right? The other umpire supervisor, he's a big dude. And he tells him, he says, "Huh, yeah, I don't remember you being at the coaches meeting." He's like, "Yeah, I wasn't." He goes, "We have those meetings for a reason. Had you been there, we would have covered this." "Well, I didn't have time." He goes, "Well, okay, whatever, right?" And then I'm like, "Well, the rule stands. We're going to continue playing now." He says, "Well, I don't like that rule." I said, "Okay. I don't really like it either, but guess what? We're going to enforce it. So Are we ready to get back to play?" And he turned around and walked away. But there's a lot of rules I don't like, but you still got to enforce them.
Hey, while I was talking, I just got 3 games assigned.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Log into Arbiter Sports, buddy.
There you have it, sports fan. I'm glad you were paying attention to the show.
Man.
What? Who?
I was.
I'm just kidding. But no, I tell you what, it's been a fun season this season. Liam, I'm worn out. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I know you're coaching too, right?
Yeah. So Liam's playing on 2 different teams. He's playing on a rec league. He's playing on a select team, and then I'm coaching his rec team, and I'm also got roped into helping coach the select team now.
Yeah.
So that's why we're starting late on these Fridays now, because we've got practice at 5:30.
Yeah.
But he's been killing it, man.
Good.
Last week he had 2 singles. 2 singles. Walked, stole 4 bases, stole home. Killing it, man. And defensively, nothing gets by the kid.
Where's he at?
Short. So he plays short, and then we had him playing third the other night. Now he tells me he pitches as well.
Uh-huh.
But now he's telling me he wants to try catcher. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have him catch next week.
Nice. How about Shohei Otani?
What a beast, man! He's an alien. He's got to be
Natural.
He's not human, man.
He hasn't even pitched yet. Next year he pitches.
He's not.
Next year he pitches.
He's not human, dude. He's a freaking nature. What? I'm so enamored by that dude, man.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Golly.
Yeah. He is just natural talent, man. Natural talent. I remember I saw him in Pittsburgh this year, when the Dodgers played Pittsburgh, and he got up and struck out. And then he got up and smacked one out. And I just looked at my wife and I was like, well, he did what he needed. He did, he did his thing.
Yep, we can
Like,
go home
he's-
now, honey. Let's go.
Well, I mean, not only just we go home like if I were, if you're a Japanese person, thinking contractually like a typical Japanese person would be thinking, okay, I'm good for the rest of the game. I can just go hang out now. Like I contractually fulfilled my obligation. I knocked in the home run like I was supposed to do. Right? Like to him, it's probably very transactional. Like I need to hit this thing.
Right.
Well,
especially when you're that good, But I bet you anything, he's the nicest guy in the world.
Probably. I mean, so how about, it was funny. I listened to a ton of podcasts, and it was speculation jokingly, but he was like, did you notice the whole, Jeff Fisher was pointing out, did you notice the whole betting thing is gone? It's gone away now, right? Like
we talked about it. Yeah,
like that dude's gonna get sentenced, right? He's facing up to 30 years. He's about to get sentenced, I think, in October. His translator. But I mean, it's gone. It's out of the news. It's you know what I'm saying? Like it's adjudicated. I mean, which leads you to believe, maybe Mr. Shohei did know a little bit about. I don't know. It's a speculation, but with how quickly they made that disappear.
Yeah, they got their scapegoat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. He's done, man. He's toast.
But even if he had some knowledge of it, that dude still fucked him over pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, and still, like, Shohei's a good dude, man. But how about what he did? I'll tell you what, man. I'll support Shohei Otani just for what he did to California, man. When he got how he structured his contract. You know about that?
No,
Oh man. Oh man.
Do tell, please.
He's like his contract is ridiculous, right? Like, let me look it up, man. It's I don't want to misquote it. Which is why I say I want to look it up real quick. Otani. I know this on Japanese news. They said his contract is the equivalent of one Rainbow Bridge in Yokohama.
Damn. Holy smokes, man.
Yeah. But I just want to make. Yeah. Okay. It is 700 million. Yeah. Yeah. Baseball, right? 700 million.
Damn.
To play baseball.
That is so. I can't wrap my mind around that, man.
Right? No, I see. The reason I had to look it up was because I was like, "Is it?" I knew it was 700, but I started to think, no, maybe it's 70. Right? But it's 700. 700 million. This guy's getting paid. Anyway, he structured it so that he only receives like 1 million now, and then like $1 million every year. It's something like where he's only going to get like a little bit of it. And then when he retires, he'll get the rest, so California can't tax it. He'll be back in. So he basically like cheated California out of all of the taxes for the salary to the point where they went and tried to pass a new law. Look it up. They tried to pass a new law because of what Shohei did, right? But they got greedy, and when they went to pass the new law, it got struck down because what they said was anyone who earns any money playing in the state of California for any reason has to pay tax on that money. Meaning, right, the Pittsburgh Pirates go play at the LA Dodgers. Every Pirate player has to pay tax on what he earned for that game in California. And then, so everyone was like, what?
Yeah.
But that was the only way they could catch Shohei, because that's how Shohei was structuring his stuff.
You know what? I don't feel bad at all.
I don't either, man. I don't either. That's why I said I love Shohei for what he did to California. Not only is he talented, he's smart, or he at least surrounded himself with smart people.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, he skipped out on a ton of California. In fact, I bet if you specifically look it up, it can come up. I'll ask Google specifically. How much did Otani cheat California out of taxes? It was a big story. 90 million. He'll avoid paying 90 million in taxes because he deferred all of the 700 million contract. That's right. He deferred almost all of it. So he's going to 90 million. He cheated them out of. I remember they were going to change the law. They were going to change the law because of that.
I'm not even going down that rabbit hole tonight on California because we don't have enough time.
No, we
But-
don't have to, and we are pretty much done.
Yeah.
But what a way to end talking about Shohei Otani. That is a happy note to end on. 50-50 club hasn't even started pitching yet, and cheated California out of $90 million. I love this man.
He's great. He's
Mhm.
great for baseball, man.
Ah,
He's amazing for baseball. I remember back in the day when you did have pitchers that would hit, and there weren't designated hitters. National League didn't have the DH, only American League did.
right.
You know what? And if you're going to pitch, you want to focus on pitching. But how about being a baseball player? I want to see the pitchers get back to hitting.
I want to see. You know what I want to see? The Natural. I haven't seen that in forever.
That's a good movie. Field of Dreams too, man.
I haven't seen that.
You gotta watch.
Wait, I think I have.
It's with Kevin Costner.
What's the one where the ball goes in the junkyard? The Sandlot. I did see that.
Sandlot. Oh, you finally saw that?
Yeah, I just didn't remember. Well, no, I think when they mentioned the dog in the junkyard, I remembered I had seen it.
Oh, okay.
It just wasn't a significant movie to me.
It's a go back and rewatch it. I think after going through camp and everything, and actually umpiring baseball now, I think you'll find a new appreciation for it.
I'll try. I mean, like I said, the baseball movie, the baseball movies I like are like The Natural.
Yeah.
I love that. To me, that's the baseball movie.
Have you never seen Field of Dreams?
I don't think I've seen Field of Dreams. I've seen Bull Durham. I love that.
That's a good one too, but Field of Dreams is a great.
That's the one where he
movie.
builds it and they come
Yeah,
back and they play like an old school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't like I don't know.
There's more of a story to it though.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention. It's
Okay.
He's not building it for him.
He's building for his dad, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like to be in the stands?
No.
No, I don't remember.
No.
I have not seen it. I've heard people talk about it. Only because I enjoy baseball. I really do. And I'm building a passion for it, but I don't love it enough to have it be the vehicle of a story. Like The Natural sticks with me because I saw that when I loved baseball. So that's with me. Now I'm getting my love for baseball back. I bet if I watch it in a year.
Yeah. There's no rush, but I think you'll enjoy it, man, because you're a story kind of person.
I love stories.
And it's a great story, man.
I love stories, Andy.
I know you do. I know you love telling them.
The world's a story. I love watching it. The whole world's a story.
Hey, be sure to check out Pinups for Vets.
Pinups for Vets. One of the best charities at pinupsforvets.com. Let me tell you something. Send a deck of cards, receive a deck of cards, have a deck, use a deck, give a deck. Pinups for Vets.
You might be using your dick.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. They are in every theater, are they not?
Yes.
They are there. They're more reliable than Oakley. Pinups for Vets is a charity that will deliver. Yes. They will deliver.
Yes, they will. They'll deliver, and
it's tasteful. It is honestly tasteful. There's nothing.
There's no nudity.
Yeah, it's recreating the 50s war 40s war posters,
the War Bond drive,
Rosie the Riveter stuff.
Yeah, the War Bond drive
of that stuff. That they do to raise money to send over to GIs overseas, right?
It's tasteful. It's not it's classy. It's not
all volunteer, all military affiliated.
Yeah.
Just go check it out. Pinups for Vets. I mean,
do it.
I joke about it, but it's true. It has been in every combat theater I've been in. like it's there. And I used to have it. I don't have it anymore, but
you know what I would like to do tonight to close out the show instead of our normal outro. Let's play Chuck's outro.
Sounds good.
Intro, outro. Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm glad somebody does because I sure don't. Anyway, Lou, any last words?
Hey, just again, if you like the podcast, just click comment, click like down. I hate saying it, but you got to, man. I guess apparently click like down below or whatever, and subscribe and do all that stuff that you're supposed to do, and we'll keep going anyway. It don't matter.
And since my last name is Barker, be sure to spay and neuter your pets.
That's right. That's
Good night, everybody.